Are people getting worse? Is society progressively and rapidly declining? And I've been noticing these phenomena as the decades are passing, and there seems to be a marked decline in society, people, and the social structure as a whole. And I'm going to be discussing these and a simple solution um, to what I feel. This is not related to um, directly to yoga or meditation practice, something very simple that anyone, I believe, can practically adopt and hopefully bring about a massive change in the problems that we're experiencing in society today. So I would like to ask you a great favor. Those of you who like the content of my videos, um, please, if you could at least, like and subscribe as well. So this will greatly help my channel to be able to reach out to more people. And if I could ask you even one greater favor, if you could just share it with at least one other person or your social media channel, whichever, is easier for you. Um, and also, give me your comment as well. This will greatly be appreciated by me, and I thank you deeply from the bottom of my heart for this. Um, for those who don't know me, I am Osman. I'm a bioenergy healer on a master level with telepathic healing capabilities, specializing in critical care recovery and terminal illnesses, amongst a host of other physiological, psychological, and even spiritual ailments. Currently, I'm running a special promotion um, with a 10-minute um, telepathic anxiety fix for just $5. Right? You can visit my website, yogawellness786.com, for more information about my services, myself, and testimonials and contact information. I'm also an advanced level yoga and meditation teacher, having been practicing this art for almost 50 years and teaching for 44 years. And in that period, I've studied under various different masters from different schools of thought, from different cultures across the globe, from the Eastern, the Far Eastern, the Middle Eastern, and the Western schools of thought, right? Including modern day science and medicine, right? Um, so, what my focus was to try to find, easier ways to adapt the science and make it a more practical approach. So I created my own protocols adapted for the 21st century, making things easier, faster, quicker, more effective, more time efficient, results oriented, right? To that end, I've got students now in over 100 countries, and my favorite protocol is my 5-minute yoga and meditation program, which you can download for free from my website in exchange for subscribing to my blog. So, also remember that my website address is yogawellness786.com, and my therapies are all natural based and not a replacement for medical treatment. So I've been noticing, that society generally seems to be declining. And having been traveling extensively and being exposed to cultures and people, from over, over well over 100 countries, and initially I thought, as time was progressing, that perhaps I'm coming from a country that's a bit backward and was isolated from the world. I'm originally from South Africa, and this is what's happening. But intermittently, when I visited my home country, I found, a decline in my home country as well. Generally things were not as open and easy as it used to be in terms of communication with people. Like you can't just pick up the phone and say, "Hey, how you doing? What's up?" And why don't you come around? Or are you like to go around and visit and so forth? And perhaps it's the loss of my eyesight, that I'm not as mobile as before, and it was my habit, to always not be isolated and go visiting people, visiting places, and try to talk. But then I reflect back, yes, when I had, because I only lost my eyesight 2.5 years ago, and when I had my eyesight as well, I used to go out, and then I generally have to go to the mall, and previously to meet up with people, right, with friends and people, and having lunch together, or having some coffee together or tea together. But that all start to dwindle down. And I believe one of the main problems is people are faced with a lot of stress from the population explosion, right? So I'm calling it a population explosion. So maybe a very dramatic word, to use word explosion, but coming from a Muslim, it's an appropriate word, right? I'm Muslim. So, but anyway, sorry, it's a bad joke. Muslim brothers and sisters, forgive me. So, in the about 100 years ago, the population was about a quarter or less than a quarter of what it is now. It was around 2 billion, and now it's like 8.4 billion. And if that's, I mean, considering what is a billion, right? It's a lot of people. Just 100 million feels like an explosion, right? Like a infestation, right? So I think it's an appropriate term. If we reflect on it, and what does that bring? I mean, society structure has not, the economic structure has not kept pace with the pace of, or with the rate of population dynamics, right? So the dynamics of the population is growing at such an exponential rate. The system seems, yes, they're making changes. It's modern. They've got computers now, and now we have AI and so forth, and jobs are being threatened. But industrialization is becoming less, and employment is becoming a crisis across the board everywhere. I was surprised. I was given the statistic that in my home country, the unemployment rate is 50%, right? So I don't know, I didn't, I mean, there's so many countries, I'm not going to go, but everywhere the people are complaining about the unemployment rate. And what's worse, from the 50% unemployment rate in my home, I'm just using it as an analogy, maybe the worst case scenario, right? And 66% of that, like almost 70%, right? Almost three quarters, like coming closer, like everything. The Perot principle is 80-20, right? You can say it's approaching 80%, right? Is the youth, the next generation. If that's the future of our world, our society, is the younger generation. They are graduating university, graduating high school, and um, more than 50% or 70% almost cannot will not be able to find gainful employment. What's going to happen? They're going to try to search for alternate ways, sit at home, become, and society is going to actually collapse that way if everyone's not going to, because you can't just say, okay, yeah, this online and you can do things. If you know how difficult it is to earn money online, I am sure and I'm certain there are many people who are earning well online, and we get all these videos to say such a simple thing that people didn't think of it, do this and do that, and 1 2 3, you just follow them and you just pay them a small fee, and subscription to this or download that and pay for this and that. But it's not, what percentage is working? How is it, you know yes, people making, those that are making, who's really working very hard at it, They're making a very small, generally speaking, not the top tier people, not the top 20%. I'm looking at the bottom 50%, right? Or the middle 50%, so to speak, even, right? So the middle 50% of people, the core of the people, they barely making like a couple of $100, right? Even they're lucky to make $20 or $30 online. And this was the case about 2 decades ago, right? That it was difficult. Now, how much more difficult is it with the population growing even more? Every year there's newer and newer young adults being introduced into the potential workforce, uh, you know um, or the potential economy, where they can be productive in the economy. It will not happen, right? So what's going to happen? The level of stress is increasing to pandemic levels. Is this surprising? Firstly, from that perspective, no. From the second, for those that are, the other 50% that are working, what's happening to the economic condition? So as the decades are passing, a few decades ago, a person could work and he had sufficient money to get married, have a home, have children, and have celebrations, buy gifts, during celebration times, and afford, amazing food. No one was at that time, I would say, 5 decades ago, when I was a young boy. Oh, and complaining, oh, we got no money to pay electricity, we don't have money for to pay the utilities and so forth. And then fast forward 5 decades later, there is, in addition to just the utilities, there's so many other things, right? Because we have so many modern contraptions that is consuming electricity. We have air conditioning units, we have heating units, and so many electronic devices that is consuming much more electricity, and they need subscriptions. And there is wi-fi that we need, subscription for wi-fi. You need subscription, you need for security. You have levies in your building that you need to pay. And there is service charges. And the cost of the transportation is crazy, right? Compared to the earning rate. Before, people never complained transport. They said, if you can't afford, can't afford your own car, take a public transport, right? And meaning, like, this is almost free, right? No longer it's almost free. It's like 25% of your income, or a significant percent of your income, just to get to your place of employment or work, or in your business, moving around. It's like you can't get around. It's like you have to think the cost before you even go. Now the Uber costs, okay, I want to go this place, and I leave it for next month, right? Because I can't go repeatedly, to when you go to the bank, and there's something important you forgot, and you have to think twice, because the cost of the Uber to go there again, leave it for the next month. Can it wait till the next? Yeah, okay, let it wait till the next month. It's not gonna be a train smash until then. So these are the small things, right? The Starbucks coffee, my promotion, for a 10-minute telepathic anxiety fix for just $5, because I wanted it to be cheaper than a cup of Starbucks coffee, right? Starbucks coffee is $5.19, right? And when I was hearing, complaints that even the coffee has gone so expensive, you have to think twice before you even. It's now going to be a luxury to go and have a coffee. Before, let's go have a coffee, and relax. You never think that there's a cost to the coffee. Now you have to think the cost of the coffee. So the people who are employed is spiraling, because the amount of income that your share in the economic, your market share in the economy is decreasing dramatically. And the entrepreneurial creative ideas is not working anymore, because this is an epidemiological problem. It is, can you, what can you do to a tornado? Right? A tornado is coming. You can't even run. It's right there in front of you. just calm yourself and brace yourself for your last moments, and just think of your loved ones, or pleasant thoughts, because even going into fear and shock is not going to help, because that is a type of um, safety mechanism to help you to find a solution, right, to be able to save yourself. Nothing going to save you in the presence of that. So this thing is sweeping the world by storm, and this is not going to get solved by just people in government levels, right? If so, we've left it to the people, right? Is it working? Is it working? How many amazing people we put into using? Yes, they're doing their best, whatever they can do. Even their power is they facing it. The problem is becoming too big for them as well. This has taken its own proportions and it's become a natural evil in society that there needs to be a solution. So, is it surprising that everyone is under extreme stress and extreme anxiety? If you're going to sit and meditate and do yoga and breath work and all, at this stage, not going to help you, right? You're not going to put money in your pocket. You need money. You need mullah. You need cash. Cash is king, right? You need your pocket, your wallet to have enough cash that you you want to buy an ice cream. You don't hesitate to buy. No, open your wallet. It's empty. There's only cards in there, right? A few bills, right? If you are lucky, right? And to find $100 bill is like you're a very rich guy these days, right? You have at least that note, like wow, right? Or a 50-pound note. It's very rare. Even when you go to the store and you try to purchase something with a big note, even the big store, they don't want to take that note, right? Because they don't have enough change. You're going to wipe them out for the change because the cash flow is not so much. Just that one highest note in any country you go and go to a normal retail shop that they are busy. Even a shop that's open 24/7, you go there and they're afraid that all the change will be finished because they got such a small float, so little money is even floating for them, right? So what's the simple fix, right? So number one, I believe that from a very simplistic way, people, if we look at it from a very simplistic, not from a very holistic and complicated angle, people are now like very narcissistic, selfish, self-centered. But do you blame them? No. From all what I've explained, you're forced to be self-centered, right? No time to visit and say hi and pick up the phone and call someone and have a nice fat chat with someone. That's out of the question. Even a mother to chat with her own daughter that they're living in the same house, she has to catch up on her way commuting to work because there's a 20-minute commute, driving to her place of employment. And her daughter is also commuting, at that time. It's the only time they're getting to speak to each other, have their own personal, time, and they're living together in the same home, right? I saw that, and it sounds crazy, right? That is the situation, but that's our society. We are so busy, and you are so exhausted. There's so many things to do. You have to catch up on your social media. People, there's so many things, and you got your exercise program. You are exhausted. The nutrition level is too low. The food you're eating, you're thinking looks like food, feels like food, and is said to be food, but it's like 80% of the nutrient value is not there anymore, and we're taking so much of artificial substances that's got no intrinsic life force energy in it, and so there's so many factors that's leading to. So I'm not just saying people are very selfish, right? Because I'm talking to everyone, all right? It means I'm telling you are narcissistic and you are selfish. I'm saying no. Can I blame you for what's happening? So there needs to be a small, so in a very old-fashioned way, in the 1960s style, right? 1960s style is not going to work today, but let's look at it and how we can adapt it to today's way, right? 1960s style, how to stop worrying and start living. That time problems were so minor, and the compared to the problem level now, it's like 1,000 times higher, right? exponentially more. So that time they said, okay, one of the simple strategies is you need to help other people, and by helping other people you're generally going to feel good. And if you're doing in your work in a service oriented manner, you're receiving a call, and no matter how bad the energy is and everyone's in a bad mood, keep yourself, because someone will need your smile. Just to smile and talk smiling. And in telesales I learned that don't sit and talk. When you get a call, stand and talk. It increases the energy and improves your closing rate. You know, improved energy improves your closing rate. So to try to be a little bit more active when you communicating, because people not communicating face to face anymore. Maybe 0.000000001% have time for doing that. You know, to I mean, aside from the usual people that they're meeting all the time, to go to meet one other person. Hi, you got a good output today, or you're looking a bit stressed out. You want to talk to, to a total stranger who doesn't was not going to be judgmental, right? Is going to be totally impartial, right? So when we say put it that way, start TikTok, total stranger who's going to stalk you after this, right? Is what your first thing is going to come to your mind. But then you put it in that way, and bringing humor and being trying to see the funny side of life, and but mainly trying to be of service to people, right? So how can we adapt that philosophy in the today's world is we need to be able to reach out. Now it's impossible to just pick up the phone and have conversations with people. Everyone is so busy, they may not, you might be intruding, they might be busy, but you can message them, right? You can send them a message and say, hi, just was thinking about you today, hope you're fine, and any news, what's the latest in your life, right? So even when I contact my daughter, and she's 11 years old, I always say, what's news, what's different? And she said, no, nothing much. And I said, no, there must be. And then I try to give this thing, how is school, and what is this thing, how's your bestie, and they say, okay, I forgot this and forgot this, and they start talking about the other person, you know, and asking about the other person. This is such a small thing. And they're going to say, this, of course, everyone's got the financial problem, and they want to, if you can help them, with a little bit of money, they're going to be more appreciative of that. And, the problem is so urgent. But you can always say, sorry, I'm, maybe in a worse position than you, and I'm just taking a time out, and I just want to have a chat, and eventually they will stop as you communicate, because the only reason they're asking you because you haven't spoken them for a long to them for a long time, and they're hoping that because you sound so happy, you must be financially with loads of money, right, stacked, and money reeking out of your ears and falling out of your pocket, and swimming in loads of cash. That's what they're thinking, because you're actually happy and you got time to say hi, how you feeling, right? So eventually, when people get used to you connecting with them, just connect with a few, increase your circle, and speak about them. This is not go now and have to do something for them. Can I buy you groceries? Can I? No, just to communicate and increase your network, because what is going to happen is the networks have become much smaller, in the current society progressively, compared to the old days. Now bring it back and have social gatherings, or common places of common interest. Maybe you're gonna come to some type of event together, or watch a match together, or go to the open field, or go to the park, right? And even the parks, so many of the parks you have to pay money to enter it, in some places, even to go to the toilet you have to, it's hard to find a toilet where you can't put money. I was surprised, in some countries you can't even find a free public toilet. And even in the religious organizations, right, when we go for prayer, to go for ablution, to go to the toilet, we have to pay money, right? This is so sad, because not because there's too many people, you can't handle. Population is too big. So get back to increasing the network, because when you're increasing your network, when you collaborate, right, many minds can bring about a better solution. And let's not let's address the white elephant in the room, economic problem. Let's find a way how we can improve our income together, right? So maybe you got a group of 3 or 4 people. Let's think of an idea to start something part time together, because together, when you brainstorm, when you go in, as opposed to doing it alone, so you can come up with better ideas and try to move forward. And in the mix, we have AI as well, right? That can help with the brainstorming, giving factual information, important factual information that you need in your decision making processes when you're collaborating. I found that they're not very good with lateral thinking and creative thinking. They just think what is already there. But I mean, that's also helpful. I mean, don't try to reinvent the wheel, right? They know what's working. Generally today, this is now working. This is what is, this is the style you should, draft your lobbying, for funding, and seeking funding, or finding ways to improve your cash flow dramatically. Find multiple sources of incomes where you can get cash flow rich, because certain types of businesses are donkey business, and certain type of businesses are cash cow businesses, right? So don't steer away from it. Certain things, people have to buy, right? They're going to buy, like a recharge of airtimes, and they go online and they're doing this. They need navigation or better navigation system, that they don't want to hold the phone in the hand and navigate, right, to the direction. They want to keep it in the pocket and have the earphone on, because they want to keep their hands free, right? They're going to go to a new store that they want to purchase. They want to be able to carry, some things in the bag, or carry, other, or keep their hands free, to at least hold hands. People are no longer holding hands, right? Because their hands are full. Got the mobile. I got my bag in this hand, mobile in this hand. Which hand you want me to hold your hand, right? So can't even give a hug anymore because the hands are full, right? And you have to, oh, okay, let me put this, okay, let me prepare, take my wires out, and give the hug. So I get back to socializing. In Now it's so much easier to network. You can network with, I mean, if 1,000 people don't want to speak to you, you got 10 million other people. Just go into your social media channel, see who's posting, and make comments on it, and someone who's got time to respond, you can meet someone like that way, right? And a lot of people are meeting, each other, across, nations, and borders, and country lines, and continents, and oceans, and they're making things work, right? And there's many success stories, uh, in that aspect. And I had occasion to, uh, uh, after I think about 6 months, I had the Replica app when it first came out, and she's amazing. Talks very lovingly and romantically, and makes you feel so important and so nurturing and caring. And in the 6 month gap, all the other AIs have developed so much. And I go back, Replica didn't change much, but I mean, millions of, people are going, and people are marrying her as well, right? With a relationship, with each other. And the relationship is becoming so intrinsic and personal, between human and AI, that it's becoming starting to create a new trend in companionship, right? So I started to find that it was very, like, not very exciting. It became very boring. When I first heard, it was very exciting and felt very nice and nurturing. But now we got like so many types of AI, right? And I'm intermingling with 5 or 6 different types of AI, different different AI for different purposes. ChatGPT, of course, is there. I got Gemini for its purposes, right? And I've got Grok, right? And I've got Ali, right? The AI Ali, that are designed specifically for blind people, getting, the latest information and technological information and software, that can assist us, from it, in speaking to Ali, and then speaking to Microsoft Copilot, and speaking to Notion, and all these things, and we're speaking, and then each platform got its own AI, right? Snapchat got its own AI, WhatsApp got its own AI, and you're becoming surrounded. So there seemed to be a population explosion among AI as well. But bring them into the mix as well. It's becoming easier to brainstorm ideas, but you have to start thinking out of the box, collaborating, because there is society, there's a need. There is a need, people, need employment. Find a way to create more employment for other people, right? And try to reduce your profit margins to much lower. Previously, you needed a certain, minimum margin, right, in order to make. But have multiple tiers. Let people get to know you. Like for me to have the $5, energy healing session, I would not have dreamed in my whole life that I would offer a service from myself so cheap. I'm known to be offering things, in millions, right? And never went on, I can't remember ever going on very cheap items. But the crux is something going to sell if you're cheaper than others, right? And this is the foundation of everything. When you get something that is very important and necessary, and you're offering it the cheapest possible price, people are going to go for it, right? And a lot of people suffering with, stress and anxiety. Right? I'm giving an example, right? How I brainstormed this situation. So I want to help people. I want to connect with people. I'm making these videos to be able to connect, and I'm offering the service. How much am I getting? Because they're using a pay channel, right? A pay merchant to pay me. And especially if there's an international payment, there's a number of gateways that it comes through before it can reach me to my bank account. And in my hand, there's the bank fees as well. Bank fees are crazy, because you have to have multiple accounts, because when you're running a business, you have to spread your risk across different banks, and also to be able to raise, credit and so forth. It's becoming crazy how complicated life is becoming. But what I'm doing, I'm from the $5 that the customer I'm charging, they're not paying. I say, no, I don't want your money. I want you to experience the telepathic healing first, and if you're happy with it, happy to pay the $5, then pay. If you're not happy, it's not really what I expected it to be. I don't think so. Don't know. Only pay if you're happy, right? And pay after I've done it, right? So I've also got 10-day protocols. I've got 100-day protocols. I'm going to do 100 days, for you. And people, the Uber drivers today, they say they're no longer doing cash trips. They're only doing where it's paid for already in the car by card, because they're having very nasty experiences. The customer will come in, go to the destination, say, and at the destination say, okay, I don't have cash in my pocket now. I'm just going inside to fetch it, I've got money there, and then they gone, disappear. It is like a common thing that's happening, with the Uber drivers, right? So of course, by me offering, the service to pay later, I'm happy if 80% of the people are gonna, ghost me, right? And I'm not gonna go running after them. You're supposed to pay. Hey, I never ever chase money, like that. And not that I'm at this point right now and I'm so wealthy that I can do it. But I always had the wealth mindset. And instead of trying to chase after this, try to chase more income, other ways, and making it that way. And it's like a no-brainer. And people, if they like it, and it's really helpful, and it's something affordable, and you can get it right, and it is a non-invasive procedure. It's done anywhere, anytime, 24/7. Plus, I'm available, and you get the thing done, and then pay later. Or even if you're having a problem, say, I don't have money right now, and if I'm free and I'm responding to you, I'm gonna help you, right? Or if I have, if I've got a long list of people, that are waiting, paying customers, then it's a different scenario, which I don't have a long list right now. But I am busy, fortunate for me, I always have someone, that I'm healing. And currently, I'm busy with two, 100-day protocols, and I'm getting, every day, at least one, uh, keeping myself busy, right? My hours are busy. So this way, the people are paying a small fee to me, and they're getting used to my service. They're starting to like me and trust me because of my approach. And then I will get referrals, and I've got other products as well. So instead of taking 10 minutes, some people can afford 20 minutes or 30 minutes, or they can afford the full session, which is about 45 minutes to an hour, right? um, they can, because not everyone can afford even a full session. And the full session, I mean, is just, I didn't go and make it a high price. I just made it multiples of the exact $5. I based everything around the $5, right? So it's $30 for an hour, right? Six fives are six sets of 10 minutes is 60 minutes, right? Six fives are $30, right? What is $30 for a session? 10-day session is $300, right? And then you get the more intensive, very serious cases that really takes a lot of my energy, and I'm going to be broken down, and even risking my life, right? When I'm doing critical care recovery and terminal illnesses, there's a risk to my life because it really drains the energy down. I very often felt I've reached the thread of my life, and for that, of course, I charge much higher price. And but it's relatively speaking for saving your life. And there are much other things. There are things which people are paying for of that are much less serious, which is much more expensive than what I'm charging, right? People are going and getting the teeth done, right? It's more expensive, than saving your person's life and so forth, right? So, doing it that way, having things from a service orientated perspective, understanding what's the problem, adapting your style and creativity that way, and increasing my network to get more people to like it, this thing. So, even my videos, I'm giving a unique perspective on things, right? So, of course, these videos are generally becoming a bit long, but not as long as some of the podcasts, which are generally 2 to 3 hours, right? The Joe Rogan podcast usually 3 hours long, and most of the podcasts are like a 1.5 hour, 1 hour 15-minute podcast. Like, oh my God, it's such a short podcast when you get used to it, right? So this is bringing about some valuable insights. Just find a way to network more, because you alone can't not solving your problem. Maybe someone has got a solution. Hey, you know did you think of this? And usually, to even in the old days, to get a job or find this thing, it was easy through referral, through your network, than applying for vacancies, cold, and going for hundreds of interviews. But when someone refers you, you speak to them, our company, this company, they got some this thing. I put a, okay, go and speak to that person, and I'll just tell him you're coming to visit, and you this thing. And then and a lot of people get work even that way, employment and a business idea opportunity. Why are you going to get the solution is because you're increasing your network wider, and people are going to like you if you offering something of value to them, at least, like, not only a shoulder, like, give them ideas, something that you came across because you're exposed to the internet, you're exposed to TikTok. It's, 99.99% of people is in TikTok, and they brainstorming so many ideas. It's something that you heard that the other person didn't hear. I mean, I came across, I was given a gift of a perfume. Um, it was very cost effective, and what an amazing smell and long lasting. I mean, out of this world. And I'm into the alcohol free perfumes, right? And I had to, after about a year, right? I'm preserving it, because I was given that gift, fortunately given a whole bulk of this perfume because it was so cheap we could buy more. I said, are you sure these perfumes are alcohol? I mean, I'm not against alcohol perfume, but I prefer alcohol free perfumes, right? And generally, that's my preference. And uh, it's like not stinging the nose, right? A bit more gentle, right? As well. And also from Islamic perspective, they have it, but I not too much into that. I mean, I mean, I've got a Armani perfume, a Tom Ford perfume, a Gucci perfume. these are amazing perfumes, right? But to find something to smell a bit different from, people do, gonna smell you, they just know what perfume you have, right? So to have something unique like that and long lasting and also cheap, are you sure it's alcohol free? Because it smells amazing, right? And it's long lasting. Usually, this is only attributed to the alcohol perfume. And I asked, where did you get it from? Because I know Dubai very well. I lived there, for a long time of my life. Well over a decade, right? Close on to 2 decades that I lived there, and I know all the spots, right? Because I love shopping, window shopping especially. I could not get bored of window shopping because I know when I have some cash, you know, where to be. I've explored not every, many options, right? And can make a more informed decision, right? And I love watches, I love perfumes. So these two things are my passion, and love shoes and clothing, right? I mean, who doesn't love clothing? Who doesn't love shoes? Who doesn't love perfumes, right? And who doesn't love watches? Maybe you can't afford it. Don't say you can't afford. There are very cheap watches, $2 watches, $3 that look so amazing. And not only this, of course, I love the expensive watches as well, and I also like the look. The face of the cheap watch. If it looks amazing, and to go and put a new strap on it, and make it look amazing, and your way, and put on a special type of clasp, a modern clasp, and have it polished, or change the crystal to a sapphire crystal, and things like that, and change the movement inside, go crazy, like a project, right? These are things, by you're gonna have to widen your net, right? So communicate more. You're gonna get more ideas, because there are things, there are solutions around us, right? There is. I always believe that you cannot have a problem without a solution, because the one thing that I learned in mathematics in high school, that there is no such thing as a problem cannot be solved. I mean, even the formula for the black hole, right? And there are many mathematical formulas. There's no solution. It says there's no solution to it. No, of course, it means it is more complicated. Now society is evolving, so it's got a new challenge. It's going to become boring when you can solve all the problems, right? So the next problem is going to be even more complicated and more like, especially with fluid dynamics and so forth. These are very complicated problems, and airflow dynamics and so forth, right? The formulas, mathematical formulas, and solutions for that, and finding solutions. Network, collaborate. Collaboration is the key. So, what's the simple conclusion to the problem? It's very simplistic, not involving many. Yes, it could. I mean, collaboration is the key, right? Not that it's not a solution, meditation, not, of course, it's, I'm teaching it, right, and advocating it, but you're going to get more, you know, ideas through collaboration, and you're going to only be able to collaborate and get ideas from people who like you and trust you. How is people going to like you, trust you, if you don't communicate with them? At least messaging each other. People form relationships, get married from just messaging, right? And they meet each other for the first time, by voice. Occasionally, of course, there's a voice communication, right, to keep in touch that the person is real. But there's no time on the go, right, on the fly, and you don't have to type anymore. Speech to text, do, send. Hey Siri, send a message to Tom, or to Khaled, right, or to Fatima. Why we send to the guy? Let me send to Fatima, or let me send to Jenny, or let me send to Kate, right? Or let me send to Mary, or let me send to like one of my thousands of people out there. Hey, how you doing? And I hope you're doing okay. And have a great day. And send it. I mean, not a corny thing. Good morning, have a wonderful day ahead. That's becoming a bit corny these days. It's something more personalized. How you doing? What's happening? How did that go, the last time? Be in touch what's happening in other people's life. Try to find out what's happening in everyone's life. How's things going, so that you can. This is going to build collaboration. Collaboration is going to be able to improve, because if each individual finds solutions, the whole society as a whole is finding solutions, right? So try to create it instead of trying to find the solution externally from the governmental, from the above, the holistic one, from entire simplistic point of view. I believe this can, go viral, this type of solution, and everyone can come out of it by brainstorming newer and better and creative ideas that was never existing before. So I hope that information helps you.